Hello, everybody. I see where I'm on the opposite side of you tonight than I am. Usually on my screen, I'm on the other side. I don't know what happened, but I'm over here, whatever side that is. It is Blaster Stash. It is Sunday night, but it's, again, no new comics, but we're talking about 80s cartoons. So we're talking about our experience and history with cartoons, what ones we like from the 80s. We're going to do a quick little trivia on what our cartoon knowledge from the 80s. Just going to have a little fun with this kind of stuff. We were talking just in the off air about how cartoons have changed throughout the years. When we were kids, I was born in 76. I think you were born the same year. So we're roughly the same age. And Bicentennial. It was cartoons Saturday mornings. It was cartoons maybe before you got up and went to school, and cartoons when you got home from school. And that was freaking it. We did not have Cartoon Network, no Disney Channel, no any of that stuff. So you really had to dedicate your time to cartoons. What was your Saturday morning? You have a Saturday morning ritual you used to have when you get up and watch cartoons? I think you were born the same year.
So we're rough. As early as I can remember, I remember the routine being something like this. During the week, wake up, finish up some homework, had like Inspector Gadget and stuff like that on East Coast. You know, we got the cartoons earlier. So Inspector Gadget, stuff like that, would be playing Heathcliff, and then finish up the homework, jet off to school, right? When you first came home, you finished up some homework, and we'd go out to the garage. Our garage was kind of like the little workshop where we all screwed around. We had, I don't know why anybody ever thought this was good, but with like, thank God MacGyver was not a cartoon. Like, I legitimately, because
oh my God, yeah.
We had all the tools, torches, and everything in this garage. So we would sit there and we would always catch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came on when we got out of school. Cops, you know, there's kind of like one-off cartoons like Brave Star and stuff like that. Those things came on. So we watched a couple of those. And then me and my friends, we would head off into the woods and we would play those games, right? So like even G.I. Joe, right? That was an afternoon cartoon we all watched. Then we split up and we'd go play that. Then Saturday morning was wake up before the parents got up, poured myself a bowl of horrible Cheerios and dumped like 8 teaspoons of sugar in it, and watch cartoons for like 4 or 5 hours, and then go meet up with my friends and skateboard, BMX bike, or reenact what we saw in the cartoons. Like that was the routine. Still more time outside, right? But still everything we did was based off of comic books and cartoons at that time. And if you could double it up, like that was a score, right? Because you could do the cartoon and the comic book all in one afternoon. So it was awesome.
Yeah, I remember getting up in the morning. It was seemed like for me, I remember like really old cartoons in the morning. It was Popeye the Sailor. It was stuff that wasn't current. It was just reruns, Tom and Jerry, stuff like that. Then going to school and then getting home watching TMNT. Mario Brothers was a big one. I remember Mario Brothers premiered on my birthday, and I thought that was such a great, like, oh my God, Mario Brothers is premiering on my birthday. What a great present for me. Legend of Zelda, I remember that came out right about the same time too.
Yeah, there's oddball cartoons kind of showed for a while, and I remember them because they would last maybe a season or two, then they would quickly put something else in its place. So like some of them stuck in my, like we were talking off air quickly about the Hot Rod. I remember the cartoon Hot Rod.
I don't know.
The kid, he would get all stressed out. Like this is early 80s, like Underroom time frame. And he would get all stressed out or whatever, and he would like morph into a car.
Oh, no, I have no about that.
Dude, on the second panel there, look at it. It is hilarious. What's going on, Mango? It's good to see you. We're talking 80s cartoons. If you know of any 80s cartoons, throw it into the chat. We definitely want this to be a conversation night. Come on and join us. We're going to have some fun.
Yeah, so my brother and I remember we used to get because he didn't have like an interactive TV guide on the station showing you what was on. We had the paper. We grabbed the newspaper. We would take it out on Saturday morning. We go, okay, from 8 to 8:30, we're going to watch this. From 8:30 to 9, we're going to go over to channel 12 and watch this. And then we're going to go over here. And that's what our Saturday mornings were like. I mean, I always remember that Looney Tunes usually kind of wrapped up the end of the cartoon morning. Usually that showed about 10:30 or 11, and that usually went on for an hour. So but cartoons were like it was a bigger deal back when we were kids than it is now. Because I mean, my daughter can go on and watch anything she wants, anytime she wants, any kind of cartoon, which is not a luxury that we had. And it was probably a good thing. Like you said, we were able to go out and interact and play those scenes out off the couch versus sitting on a couch all day long and watching cartoons and not having much of imagination outside that.
I knew immediately when it was time to start watching cartoons because my dad was a huge black and white Western movie fan. So like the Rifleman and Black and White and stuff like that. So I knew I would try to take in as many cartoons as I could because I knew when he came downstairs, it was getting changed over this. Now I'm not saying my dad was like, oh, we're only watching this, but if I'm not going to watch it in color because the black and white TV was actually out in the garage.
Oh yeah,
like, I don't think I ever saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in color when it first came out. Think about
really?
Because it came out in the 80s. That was garage time. That was afternoon watching.
Yeah.
We would watch. So by the time we got kicked out from watching cartoons or whatever, we would all just go, watch whatever B-rated flick. Or no, we would mimic whatever B-rated BMX skateboarding movie we saw.
You're talking about your dad getting up. I remember if my dad was watching the TV in the morning, usually it was something like Chips. That something like that was already in reruns by that time. Always watching Chips, or I understand now. He would watch the freaking exercise videos of the women working out. I'm like, dude, Dad, you're not doing any of this physical activity.
Shut up, boy.
You're just watching the show. So if my dad was already up, we were kind of screwed. We didn't get to watch what we wanted to watch in the morning before school. But I do have a list we're going to share. We're going to go over, and it has a list of the most popular ones. I know it's missing a few off there because I was like, where's Mr. T? Where's a few of the other ones? I'm going to go ahead and pop this open here. There it is. And we're going to share that. Oop. And go back. Yeah. There we go. We got it open. Did I mess it up here? So this is the best cartoons in 1980s. We're going to go through this list. We're going to talk about some of our favorites as we're going through here. Now, you remember Alf or Alf Tales?
Yep.
I remember the TV show.
Yeah, I remember the cartoon too. I didn't like it. I was not the kid that liked into the more. I didn't like the more comedy type cartoons. I liked more of the action type stuff. I was a wild kid to begin with. Plus, that's kind of hard to act out after hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it revolved more around Alf's time on his own planet with his family. So, Alvin and Chipmunks definitely was an older cartoon. Maybe it was re-released in the 80s because I think that came out before 1980s for sure. Let's see. Go ahead.
No, Alf was. Oh, you're talking about
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah, Alvin and Chipmunks, the cartoon. Well, they had I distinctly remember them having the specials in the late 70s. And of course they always had the things in the 60s too, because the Alvin and Chipmunks have gone back forever. They went through 3 different voice actors for each character. So, but the most popular ones being from the cartoon, yeah, that was the mainstream deal. By the way, Double S wants to know he watched Richard Simmons work out.
Maybe I don't know. I don't think it was Richard Simmons, but then we have Babar the elephant. I think that was a little bit for our age group. That was like for younger kids. We didn't get to watch that.
Really, yeah.
Banana Man. Do you remember Banana Man?
Nickelodeon at night. That was a nighttime cartoon. The only time I was allowed to watch that is when I went over to my grandmother's house. He had cable, right? And I mean, my parents had cable too, but they were in charge of cable. I was just the remote. Right? But I remember it came on. It was Danger Mouse and then Banana Man. I remember that being the order, and they played within the same hour.
I remember Danger Mouse. I don't remember Banana Man though. Barba Papa. I don't even know what the hell that is. It looks like a whole bunch of jelly beans.
Barba Papa. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that.
Battleship Yamato. That was that Japanese stuff. I never really was into any of the Japanese stuff at all.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice. I did.
Saturday morning again. I remember kind of watching it because it was in between shows. While I was waiting for something else to come on. I vaguely remember it, but again, I didn't really get into it.
Beverly Hills Teen definitely wasn't, I think, in our wheelhouse to watch. That was geared more
we were
towards the
straight.
girls. Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines. Of course, Bigfoot was huge because that's when the monster truck came out.
So Bigfoot is huge right where I'm at, because where I live in Chesapeake, 5 miles across, like I live on the North Carolina border, right? 5 miles after you hit that border on the same road from my house right now is, and where I grew up in my area, that's where Bigfoot was built and where his home is. So like you could go down there and watch them practice and stuff.
Oh, really?
And my uncle and my dad did welding on Bigfoot. So that, like a couple of redneck kids, that was huge for us.
Mm-hmm.
That was huge.
Bionic 6. That doesn't sound familiar to me. I don't know. I'm going to click that.
I might be getting it mixed up with something else, but I you know, I'm just going to go ahead and say no on that one. I don't remember that one. I don't remember that Black Star either. Oh, you're looking it up. I'm sorry.
I was looking at Bionic 6. It didn't look familiar. Black Star doesn't look familiar. I know it's part of the Filmation. It's same group as He-Man.
Yeah.
So it's same kind of animation style. Bluffers? Never heard of Bluffers either.
Got me on that one.
Brave Star. Didn't you mention Brave Star?
Yes, I actually thought Brave Star was so underrated. I don't like. Yeah, it was kind of stupid that the horse could high five his buddy or whatever. But like Brave Star being a Native American galactic warrior, I don't know. That just struck me as really. And plus, the villains in it were like kind of cool too. You know, I'm a villains guy. Always been a villains guy. I thought the villains were better in that than they were in, let's say, Cops. Remember Cops? The abbreviation Cops, right? I always thought those villains were stupid, but the heroes were super cool, right? And Brave Star, there was some cheesiness to the heroes, fine, but the villains in Brave Star were awesome. I highly recommend it. Like, they were like legit villains. It was cool.
If we go down to C, you got California Raisins. I remember that was a big promotion thing for the raisin company. They were all in commercials, the claymation, stop animation kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was huge. I don't think I ever watched the cartoon, though.
Yeah, I don't think I did either. I didn't really care.
Camp Candy. Do you remember watching that? I may have caught an episode of that or two, but it wasn't like a priority.
I'm just going to go ahead and say no. I remember the California Raisins.
Here's Cops. Now, I don't remember Cops at all.
How do you not remember Cops?
I don't remember Cops. I'm going to tell you. I'm looking up. Oh, here it is. In 2020, the fictional city of Empire City is plagued by a gang of supercriminals led by crime lord, the Big Boss.
Yeah,
so
and he was a fat guy.
This is today's time. Sure. So this is supposed to be happening right now, 2020.
Uh-huh. I'm surprised you bypassed the GoBots.
I'll get back there. I just saw Cops that you were talking about it. There's the Big Boss. No, I do not.
You don't remember, like, even the action figures. They had like tons of action figures for this.
I'm looking through the characters right now, and I don't recognize any of them.
They had the black dude was like the detective. And they had a bomb squad guy. I used to make the He-Man figures fight the cop guys, and the cop guys were just being jerks because they were cops. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna arrest you because blah blah blah," and He-Man was like, "No, fuck your face," and you know,
no, I don't remember that show. Challenge of GoBots. Of course, everybody knows GoBots as the redheaded stepchild of the transforming toys.
Yeah, that's what the poor kids bought when they couldn't get Transformers.
Yeah. I was one of those kids that didn't get Transformers. I got GoBots, or even knockoff GoBots as a kid. I remember those too.
Oh, I remember the knock. Yeah, they had worse versions too.
Yeah,
like you always knew the family members that loved you when they haven't seen you in a while, and you got a GoBot from them versus a Transformer. It's like, oh, yeah, thanks for seeing me once a year.
Double S said, "What's DuckTales in the 80s?" And he says, "Oh yeah, I remember the show Cops too." No.
Gosh, it's so. The villains were horrible in it, but the heroes were just so cool. They had a guy with a dog. Like, it was kind of like G.I. Joe mixed with He-Man mixed with something else. It's the best way to describe it. Like a buddy cop movie. Like, that's the best way to describe it.
There's DuckTales. That's what Double S on, but that was probably on my top 10 list of cartoons of the 80s was DuckTales for sure.
What about, you ever remember Count Duckula? That came on Nickelodeon too, right there in that same hour of Danger Mouse, Banana Man, and
yeah, I remember Count Duckula. It's the same kind of animation as almost looks like Donald in a way. Well, it wasn't a Disney cartoon though, was it?
No, that again, it was the same guys that did Banana Man and Danger Mouse.
Was it like a borderline adult? You said it came on in the evening?
Yeah, it came on in the evening, but it was still kind of kiddish. It was on Nickelodeon. All those shows came on right after You Can't Do That on Television.
Which was another great show.
Great. Changed television forever.
Yeah. David the Gnome. I think that was more of a cartoon that had a lot of like life experience and you know, like PSAs. You had something you wanted to add about PSAs from the 80s.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it now.
So yeah. Oh, okay. So if you've ever wondered why you saw PSAs after cartoons, right, back in the day, especially in the 80s, it was very prevalent in the 80s to have a PSA after the 80s, is because that was the deal that was done through executives through the television and the Concerned Parents Group, which was also basically just morphed from the comic book code. It was a bunch of parents that kind of morphed into that. And these parents were like, well, you're showing violence on television with the laser blast. You know, you can't kill. They put all these rules on them. And they were like, and eventually they wanted to take all guns, swords, fighting, like anything that was violently done in a cartoon. They wanted to X-nay it. Well, that's not going to happen. You know, they'll just shut down the show and be like, whatever, we can spend our time someplace else. So money needs to move. Things need to happen, right? So eventually it came down to, okay, fine. They can't shoot anybody. They kind of loosened up the rules some, right? Because if you remember vaguely, and if you go back and look, there was a period of time from like 1978-ish to about 1982 where you couldn't catch a cartoon with any violence in it. There was no gun firing, no laser blast. It was all like Looney Tunes type stuff. Just ridiculous, like just all that humor-based cartoons. So after that actually happened, and the execs were like, look, we got to get this done, whatever the case may be, deals were done. The deal was you had to have a PSA. So you can go back to like Silverhawks, Mask, Mr. T, Rambo, like all these cartoons always had a PSA afterwards. And that was the deal in order for them to be able to produce their cartoons and still be okay with everything. So again, just another uppity parents from $1 million homes telling the youth of America they can't do it. Now, what did kids do? Well, of course, even Thundercats had a PSA afterwards. Mm-hmm. And what did I do? I always made a whip because I wanted to be a lion, and whacked that rope right around my friend's neck and tried to choke him out. So it never worked.
Yeah. Defenders of the Earth. I don't remember that one either.
Ooh, Mango Bed brings up a good one. D&D. Remember that Saturday morning cartoon?
Right here, Dungeons and Dragons. Yep.
Yes. Oh my God, so good. The arrow thing with the energy. Oh, that was so awesome. And the kid being the barbarian. Of course, good one.
Hank the Ranger, Avenger, Force of Evil, Eric the Cavalier, Diana the Acrobat, Presto the Magician, Sheila the Thief, Bobby the Barbarian, the Dungeon Master. Oh, okay. I remember it vaguely, but as soon as I saw the Dungeon Master here, now it all clicks in.
Yeah. That was such a good show. Oh, so good. You remember in the 80s where being an acrobat was a superpower? Like...
Luck's not a superpower. Yes, it is.
So good.
Dino Riders.
Oh, I remember Dino Riders.
They were a line of toys as well, weren't they?
Yes. Oh, so good. Again, another one where you capture animals, and the only difference between the good guys and the bad guys was Well, there wasn't any difference. They all enslaved animals and put electronic guns on them.
I'll tell you what, though, it wasn't an 80s cartoon unless you had Frank Welker or Peter Cullen, which were the two of the biggest name voice actors of that time. I mean, they're both still doing a lot of stuff even today.
Yeah.
Even right here, Dino Riders, they got both those two big names right here playing characters.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't hear Starscream like talking in a cartoon, you had a shit cartoon. Like, I'll just say it.
Dr. Snuggles? I don't remember a Dr. Snuggles.
Yeah, I don't.
I can't click on that one either. It says coming soon.
You got. I don't remember that. That's crazy.
The droids, Star Wars droids. I don't remember that one either.
Again, it was more fun-based humor, and I think I watched it. Like, that was one of the first cartoons that introduced the concept of a CD.
Oh, really?
That I did look up. I thought that was kind of interesting because they actually had this little disc device that could download information, and that's what a CD does.
And you weren't a DuckTales fan?
DuckTales. Oh, that's what. I watched a couple of. If my friends, if it was a rainy day, and it black and white TV out in the garage with all the work equipment. Yeah, I'd catch it out there every now and then. I vaguely remembered the tune. I remember. Oh, as a matter of fact, Gyro Goose. It was in that show as the inventor. I have the first appearance of him in comic books.
Yeah, should be here. Should be Gyro. There's Launchpad, of course. Here it is. Yeah, Gyro Gearloop.
Yep, I have his first appearance in comic books. I found that 2 months ago, actually, in a dollar bin. Stupid. Good condition. It is a comic book show, so I will revert to a comic book every now and then. I try to pick up what's the name of the Woodchucks? There's the Woodchucks comics by Disney. And I pick up those when I find them just because of the scouting reference to them, too. Yeah. Oh, so good. So, we hit the main ones, but there's some obscure 80s cartoons, too.
That we've missed so far that would have been on this list?
Yeah, well, that should have been on that list. I would think so. Like, we didn't mention Rambo.
Rambo's on here. Rambo's on this list, right?
Did we pass? Oh, you're not done with the list. I thought you were done.
No, I'm not done with the list. No.
All right.
Yeah, Ewoks.
I hated Ewoks. I'm sorry.
Did you? I think it was too bad.
I remember watching it. I was so let down because I was expecting like the savage Ewoks, right? Like nomadic, like they hunt and will kill droids or whatever. No, didn't happen. I'm so angry.
Foofer? I don't remember Foofer.
I don't know Foofer.
Galaxy High.
I remember Galaxy High, more especially the little nerd that had 4 arms. I remember that. That's weird. I remember that one. That's weird. It was like some little 4-eyed, fat, nerdy kid.
Yeah, I don't remember that show.
Mm-hmm. I think it only lasted a season. But, like, I would watch it every now and then. Again, it was one of those in between. I'm waiting for one show to come on, so that's on.
The Get Along Gang, that was more of a youth kind of cartoon, I think, too.
Uh-huh.
Ghostbusters, I didn't watch that one. I watched the real Ghostbusters, but not that one.
Right. Yeah, I think, that's on one of the channels now. They were trying to promote it, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And quickly, I realized, oh, that's the one. That's the GoBot of the Ghostbuster world.
It was, yeah, definitely. Gravedale High, I don't know that one. I know Gummy Bears. I never really watched it. I watched it a few times, but it wasn't really my thing.
Gummy bears bouncing
here and there and everywhere. We're gonna start singing songs here.
Better no compare. I know the song. Like, I'll rock that shit out. I'll karaoke that shit.
We did an episode on G.I. Joe, so we know all about G.I. Joe.
I'm going to tell you right now, I would scream and yell if I was gonna miss a GI Joe. Like I would be physically upset. Like I would hold my breath if somebody thought we were gonna be missing a GI Joe episode. So like even if it was a rerun, I didn't care. Like GI Joe was my thing.
Yeah, it definitely was one of my top cartoons of the 80s too. He-Man and Master Universe. We talked about that one last week.
Yeah. Real quick in the chat room, we got is Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats on there? Yes, I know they are. Like I'm going to tell you right now, that was a before school cartoon for me on the East Coast. So yeah, Gummy Bears, best theme song. I don't know about the best, but it's definitely memorable. It definitely burrows in your head like a weevil and just stays there.
Wasn't there another cartoon similar to Heathcliff about a cat? I mean, I guess a Garfield would be in there, or Tom and Jerry. But I don't know. Heathcliff I watched quite a bit, but it was one of those cartoons that didn't really. I remember the fish bones. He's always after, digging in the trash for fish bones, stuff
in
like that.
In my house, like you woke up early. Like you woke up hours before school. So, there was a lot of like walking around time. We were not sleep-in type people. It was not going to happen in my house. And the rule was you can stay up as late as you want, but you're getting up at this time in the morning. Like that's what it was. So, so all kinds of stupid cartoons.
Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. I don't know if I remember that one either.
So remember that. Oh my God. Oh, that was a Saturday morning cartoon. During when Hulkamania was running rapid, right? And they did a PSA at the end of it as well. Even the bad guys joined in the PSA. It was crazy. But eventually, after our first Gulf War invasion, they had to kind of slow down on that cartoon a little bit because the Iron Sheik was the main villain.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Incredible Hulk, Inhumanoids, and Inspector Gadget. I remember Inspector Gadget. It was really a lot based off of Get Smart, right? From the 60s.
Yeah, I remember Inhumanoids too. That was a good one.
The Incredible Hulk, I don't know if I remember that cartoon as much.
I remember that one. It was a weird one. Like all the episodes were the exact same thing. As a matter of fact, it's on Disney now, that particular season. Or that particular run, yeah. It's on there now. It was kind of Inspector Gadget. Loved me some Inspector Gadget.
Mm-hmm.
Like I figured me and Penny were about the same age when I first started watching that.
You have a crush on Penny? Is that what you're saying?
So I'm like, me and Penny could chill. Like we could hang out. She could be tech, right? And I grew up hunting and fishing and stuff like that. So I was like opposites attract. So we could do that.
A small crush on Penny. Yeah. I think it was the same guy who did Get Smart. Wasn't it the same voice actor?
I don't know if it was, but damn if it wasn't. Right? Like it's
missed it by that much.
That much.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was Gary Owens was the voice of Inspector Gadget.
Well, he did a damn good impersonation. Wheeled Warriors. Oh, I remember that.
See, I don't remember Wheeled Warriors either. That's right here.
Kind of like a
Gates and the Wheeled Warriors.
It was kind of right up there with the. I don't know how to describe it. It was basically a bunch of vehicles that could do stuff.
Was it kind of like Mask?
Not as sophisticated as Mask. It was very simplistic. Like the headlights turned into guns. Yeah, like, oh, wow, okay. Didn't last long. It wouldn't surprise me if it was the inspiration for Mask. That's for sure. It was definitely before Mask.
Let's see when it came out. No, not here. So yeah, I'm on 80's Tune. That's the website I'm on right here, just to give them a little credit because we didn't put this list together. I want to say like, hey, we created this. So
let's go through this. By the way, it's good to see Jacko in the room again, buddy. What's going on? Anybody mentioned Thundar? Thundar, if I keep thinking that came out in the late 70s, but the Hanna-Barbera run of it, Yes, I love Thundar with the little Tyrannosaurus that could shoot the energy balls and the like. The animation was super cheap in it, but it was such good storytelling. So I'll give it that. Heathcliff, Jabberjaws.
That was like 70s too, wasn't it?
I don't. Let's say it was 80, and let's throw it in there. But I'm trying to think. Was that the actual name of the show? I don't think it was I thought that was the name of the character.
Yeah.
It was called something else.
I'd have to look it up for sure.
Yeah.
The Jetsons was another one. I'm like, Jetsons got to be older. And I looked it up, and it was. They did have a run in the 60s, but they re-released it in the 80s as well. So that's why that's on that list. This one here, next one, Kissy Fur, that either sounds like a porn star or a Bond girl. I don't know. I don't remember that cartoon at all. Do you remember Kissy Fur?
Now, if it was Kissy Fuzzy, I'd say something else, but it's Kissy Fur, right?
So I did watch a trailer for it earlier, and it kind of looked familiar, but I don't remember the show very much. About a couple circus bears that their train wrecked, and they lived in the wild, and they learned all the human traits, and they built a boat, and they're able to move stuff back and forth down the river for other animals and stuff.
Yeah, no, you got me on that one, bud.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Got Laser Tag, Legend of Zelda, and Lone Ranger.
So laser tag, that's when laser tag first kicked off, and you thought you were legitimately shooting your friends. That was awesome, but the cartoon was horrible. It also came out about the same time. You could do that thing on TV with the little starfighter thing, and you put in the VHS tape and the light went off, it would destroy, it would like little ejection pop your guy from the oh, it was so bad because you couldn't beat it even if you moved it behind your head and like just set it off anyway. It's like, oh, Crazy Guy Comics song, Too Crazy. Yo, what's up, all? What's going on, brother? We're talking about cartoons. I am pretty sure we're going to get the Shirt Tales. I can't wait to go off about Shirt Tales because Shirt Tales is the epitome of my favorite saying of all time: utopia breeds communism.
Oh, wow. Lone Ranger, I don't remember that cartoon at all. Legend of Zelda, we did talk about briefly earlier. It's one of the ones that came out right about the same time as Super Mario Brothers. It was always a staple at my house after school. Macron 1?
That's that Insectoid. No, I'm thinking of Insectoids. Yeah. No, I don't know that one. You got me on that one.
Mapletown, I don't know. Maya the Bee?
No.
Mask?
Oh, Mask was so good. I loved Mask. Like, I generally, like, from that point on, every time I see a car today, I'm like, where can I put a gun? What else can we make it do? Even today, that's how jacked up I am because of that cartoon.
Yeah, it definitely had like kind of the Mad Max kind of feel to it to some degree with the weapons and stuff like that.
And they had the stupid stuff where the car, like, because its doors open this way, it can fly.
The gull-wing doors, yeah.
Like some of the stuff, if you bought the toys, like some of the stuff, like was legit, could make sense. Like especially the one that shot out. Remember in the 80s, if you had something to do with the water, you were like the lamest guy, right? Mm-hmm. But it was always the most practical thing that could actually happen.
Yeah. Definitely. Now, I don't remember I don't think I had any mask. If I did, it was some of the smaller vehicles. I didn't have any of the big stuff for sure.
I didn't have any of the big stuff for anything. Like they just made me happy with just the regular stuff. But yeah, oh God, I loved what I had though. I had the one thing that the plane that could turn into a helicopter. Not a big difference. I had the thing that could turn into a jet ski. Not a big difference. And that cartoon also came on with the one where the guys could like throw their arms up and they would get the body parts.
Was that the 6? Is that Sector 6?
I don't think so. But like they could, you know what I'm talking about. You buy the toy and you could put the different.
Yeah, it had like little holes in them.
Yeah, and they could drill in. I don't think that was Sector. I don't know if that was Sector 6 or not. That's a good point. But I remember that being a cartoon too.
Yeah. What I remember from Mask is they were the perfect size for. I used to build a lot of model cars when I was a kid. You know, old hot rods and stuff like that, and they were just the right size guys to fit inside those cars too. And I remember building like a whole garage, like building it myself, and those guys were the mechanics for those cars. Like I'd have a car up on the lift, and he'd be up there underneath, changing something underneath the car or whatever like that. So those guys were awesome for that. And
you and me were very different kids. I always liked them because they were light enough that you didn't have. It's not like a GI Joe figure where you got to use 3 bottle rockets to get it off the air. With a mask guy, you can do it with 1. It was awesome.
I didn't do that kind of stuff. No. Mighty Mouse, that was definitely an older show. Must have been re-released in the 80s as well. Yeah. Muppet Babies, love me some Muppet Babies.
I didn't get into I don't know, man. Maybe I was just an aggressive. Y'all were starting to make me think I was an aggressive child, but there was no violence in it. I just was not interested.
I'm sure there was some violence sometimes when they imagined they lived in a castle and had to fight the dragon.
Yeah, but it wasn't like they were imagining themselves in World War II or anything.
or did he put Miss Piggy on a spit and roaster?
We're starving on an island. Sorry, Miss Piggy.
Oh, My Little Pony wasn't really in our wheelhouse either. Mysterious Cities of Gold?
Vaguely.
I don't remember that one.
I bet you it only lasted a season. Click on it. Open that joke.
It won't let me click on it. It's coming soon. They don't have information on it. So some of these right here is coming soon. New Archies, Niles Holgersson. Don't know what the hell.
That doesn't even sound American. I'm sorry.
It's probably Swedish. Some Swedish cartoon. This one I don't know either. Too. Ovid.
Yeah,
don't know.
Heard of that.
Peter Pan, Adventure Pinocchio, Police Academy, Pound Puppies. Pound Puppies, I remember.
Peter Pan one, did that come out right about the time? No. The Peter Pan movie with Robin Williams. What year was that?
That didn't come out until the 90s, like early 90s.
So that wouldn't have been in that time frame. I don't know. It's interesting.
It's one thing, like we're getting down here into Rambo and into RoboCop and stuff too. One thing the 80s did great was he took a very adult themed movie, a very hard rated R, and somehow switched it to make it to where they could sell toys and have a cartoon for it.
Yeah, they all had comic books too. Like that, that's what they did. It was awesome. So out of what we just read, I didn't watch Peter Pan. That's lame. I did watch Police Academy because I thought it would be like the movie. It was kind of let down a little bit. And then Pound Puppies, my sister made me watch.
Yeah, they definitely didn't have the playset of the hooker underneath the podium.
Yeah, they weren't doing that. I remember the toys. I thought the toys were cool. But unfortunately, I'm one of those kids that sometimes the movie spoils the cartoon for me. Mm-hmm. And maybe I shouldn't have been watching Police Academy at such a young age. Like, that could be said. But I thought it was funny. It made me laugh. And there was a lot of adult content in there that maybe I didn't get at the time. But I remember watching the cartoon and I was just like, oh, no, guys were getting blowjobs. That's not.
Yeah, that definitely wouldn't happen in the.
Where's the blue oyster? Like, I remember asking that.
Oh, yeah. The raccoons. Rambo.
I remember the raccoons.
Rambo. You talked about Rambo wanting to.
Loved Rambo, but again, it was just not. Again, when you watch the movie and then you watch the cartoon, like, I get it, right? You got to cartoon it up, but I thought the action figures and the play sets were a lot cooler than the cartoon. But even then, the cartoon still had some cool villains in it. RoboCop was awesome too.
Real Ghostbusters is probably one of my absolute favorite cartoons growing up too.
I did like that. That was funny, and it kind of did the whole action thing, and it added the humor cartoon, right? Because there's two types of, well, some would argue that there's more than two types, but I always see cartoons in 4 different types, right? You got the educational, which is the stuff you used to watch at school, plays on PBS, right? Nobody likes that stuff. That's horrible. 2, you got the action, right? And then you got 3, the humor. And then you got 4, and 4 is this kind of weird genre where you can kind of do something with Ghostbusters with action and stuff in it, and still add the cartoony feel to it. So it's kind of like this little hybrid. I always thought it was cool. And then if you want to throw in the 5th one, there's Dave the Gnome, which, whatever. that seemed more like a documentary than it did a cartoon.
Robotech. That's one of those Asian-inspired cartoons. Really didn't fit. I didn't watch any of that.
What was Voltron? Voltron was an Asian-inspired cartoon too, and I didn't like Robotech, but I loved me some Voltron. Figure that one out.
You got Roger Ramjet, porn star's name, if I ever heard one.
Yeah, I never seen that.
And then maybe he was in that movie Ring Raiders. I don't know.
Good one.
That just sounds all sorts of wrong.
Wonder how many people got that. We got Comic Mag. Sorry, and Mussing. He wants to say hello to everybody in the room. What's going on, bro? We're talking 80s cartoons. What was your favorite 80s cartoon? Do you remember any of the ones we're talking about? Throw it in the chat. Talk with us about it.
Rude Dog. Do you remember Rude Dog?
Yes. Rude Dog was huge here. All right. So I live in a very unique, and I guess everybody can make the argument they live in a unique area. But what's interesting about my area is you get extreme redneck and you get extreme skateboard surfer vibe all within 20 minutes of each other, right? So Rude Dog became the thing for the skaters, right? If you were a skater punk, you did that. Surfboard guy, you dug Rude Dog too. Not so much on the hunting and fishing and redneck side, but because of where I am, I had a skateboard, I had a surfboard, and I had a shotgun. Like that was my life growing up. So I remember Rude Dog. If you didn't have on your skateboard a Rude Dog sticker, like we would make fun of you. Like we would be like, oh, what? You can't go, what? You got a Nash skateboard and you can't get a Rude Dog? Like, seriously, you're the poor kid. Get out of here. Like, we were horrible. We were horrible kids.
So you're adding it to skateboarding, and that makes it have a little glimmer of a memory in it for me.
Yeah, that was the sticker. Well, it wasn't the Rude Dog, but the dog itself was a sticker, and it said Rude Dog underneath.
Huh.
See, that was the whole basis of it, because the dog could skateboard.
Okay, going down to S's. Got quite a few S's. You got Scooby-Doo. You got Seabert. I never watched Seabert.
You know what? Let's back up to Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
I always hated Scooby-Doo.
What?
Even as a kid, I hated Scooby-Doo. I'm sorry. I know lots of people love it. But I never got the concept. I was like, everything, like as soon as we watch it, the first person you meet, you go, there's the villain. It's like after you watch 3 episodes, you're like, there's the villain. Now, it was cool when they did something like when they brought Don Knotts in, or, Batman and Robin.
Harlem Globetrotters.
And they even brought Bob Hope on the thing. Right? Like that. Those were the different ones. But every single episode, the first person you met, that's the person behind the mask. Every time. And it was just like, and it ended with dun dun dun. And it was like,
Mr. Jenkins.
It was the same thing over and over and over again. And it used to annoy me. So, real quick, Comic Mag says Masters of the Universe, Voltron, Thundercats, Mask are some good ones. Thundar the Barbarian was my favorite. Totally get you on all of that. I think we're hitting these up in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
But totally get it. And I'm on board with you. I like violent cartoons. Jack Yo says, I'm a Scrappy-Doo guy. No apologies. No apologies necessary. I feel you, buddy. I get it. When they added Scrappy, loved the first 3 episodes of that. And then I realized, they're just doing the same thing with a midget. Okay, great.
Okay, I have one tattoo. I got this tattoo, about 20 years ago now. And it is of Scooby and Shaggy. That's the only tattoo I have. So, I used to be a huge Scooby-Doo fan. I used to watch the old stuff. She-Ra. We talked about She-Ra a little bit at our Master Universe show we did last week as well.
Again, she was one of those ones where I enjoyed the villains more than I did the heroes. The heroes just seemed typical to me. But I thought they went a little bit in depth with it. And most of the villains in that were actually from the He-Man universe. They just crossed over, right? Yeah. Again, hated the heroes in that. Loved the villains.
And then we had the Smurfs and the Snorks, which is the underwater version of the Smurfs, essentially, isn't it?
Yep. Hated them both.
I hated the Smurfs.
They had a crossover with both of them, too.
Oh, did they? Did the Smurfs turn blue and drowned, or
they would?
What color does a Smurf turn if he drowns?
The whole thing of Snorks and Smurfs just kind of creeped me out as a kid. It was like everybody was the exact same except for the one thing they were good at, and I was like, "Who the hell wants to live like that?" Maybe it was a cynical child, I guess, but I'm just like. Yeah, no. And then you got in both of the shows, you only had one chick.
Yeah.
And then when they added the second chick, it was always some underage thing that you can't even touch, right? So it's like,
so, moving on. Spider-Man and Spider-Woman. So we talked about Spider-Man Amazing Friends. That was the first appearance of so Iceman was in there as well as God, what was her name? I know she's Fire. What was her name? Star? Not Star. Is it Star?
No, come on.
I don't remember, honestly. As soon as you say it, I'll know what it is.
I tell you what, let's throw it up as a trivia question tonight for the chat.
So, yeah, who was
because I know the answer.
You know the answer? As soon as I see it, I'll know it. Yeah, I definitely watched Spider-Man and Amazing Friends. I did like the dynamic of the three characters. It was pretty cool. So that was probably one of my top cartoons.
There you go. Jacko got it.
Firestar. So I was on the right path with Star, but I just couldn't remember that last.
Also, right now, Spider-Woman, you can catch that on Disney Plus, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And that was, you know what? I don't know why they can't make that cartoon like the comic book today. It would be more interesting.
Yeah.
Like the comic, like it was an okay cartoon. Like there was nothing wrong with it, but compared to the comic book today, oh my god, forget it.
How about Starcom, U.S. Space Force?
I don't remember that. Seems like something I would know.
It's like something out of the 80s, the Reagan era, this whole Star Wars thing with space and stuff like that with Reagan. That seems kind of fitting for that time.
Yeah.
Starfleet Bomber X. This is like another Asian-inspired show.
No, not me.
Super Mario Brothers, talked about it earlier. How I remember it premiered. I don't remember what birthday it was. I can't pop on it. I know it was in middle school, I think, when it came out. 6th grade, 7th grade. Super Ted. That must be Teddy Ruxpin. Maybe. There's Teddy Ruxpin right here.
Probably.
Did you have a Teddy Ruxpin as a kid?
No.
No, I never did either. I was wondering if you put a different tape in him or something.
No, I'd probably put some Metallica in him. Enter Sandman.
So we never had a Teddy Ruxpin. I remember my little brother had a My Buddy. You remember My Buddy doll?
Oh my god, how creepy was that thing? A red-headed freckled dummy hanging around in your house. Oh my god!
I used to make a noose and I'd hang him for my brother. My brother used to get so mad at me, so I hated the My Buddy doll. I wanted a My Pet Monster so bad as a kid, but I never got.
Oh, My Pet Monsters, yeah, based off the Little Monster things. Yeah, that was cool.
TMNT, of course, that's one of my absolute favorites.
Yeah, like seriously, you can't be an 80s kid and have a problem with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh my god, and I loved how they kept up with the change. Like they would go through and just add these characters to it, and it really just kept it going forward. Mainframe Comic Con ask, hey Blaster Stash It gang, what's going on, guys, over there at Mainframe Comics? If you don't know anything about Mainframe Comics, You should go check that out. I've been following them. You should be following them too. That is a cool little virtual thing that they're doing right now. I know our good friend from Truckload of Comics is involved in that very highly. I was going to use his real name. I've met him a couple of times, and I always forget the name of his show. But no, definitely, if you're a comic book fan, you definitely want to check that out. It's good stuff going on over there. But back to TMT. And when the movie came out, that blew me away. Like for weeks, I was going, "Go Ninja, go Ninja, go, go!" Like that was my thing.
Oh, the Vanilla Ice song, really?
Yeah, why not?
That was on number 2, though, wasn't it? I think that was on number 2.
Yeah.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Thundercats. Always like Thundercats. It was okay. It was definitely seemed like it had a little Asian inspiration as well. Too looked like Ronald McDonald as a cat, you know. Did he look like Ronald McDonald? That's what I always thought.
I didn't get that. Everybody, we would argue who would be Panthera. Nobody wanted to be Lion-O. And let's be honest, Lion-O was just a kid trapped in a man's body, right? If you follow the story, right? And I swear to God, and prove me wrong, but if Tira did not have the biggest boobs in cartoons from back then, fight me, prove me wrong.
Oh, you think she did have the biggest boobs of a cartoon character?
Like she had solid double D's and could run all day long, like easy.
We'll have to ask that up. I guess in the chat or anybody watching, maybe in the rewind. Who do you think had the best cartoon boobs?
Who had the best cartoon? But like seriously, think about it. Old girl was a runner. She had a banging body, and she always kind of had this. I don't want to say sex. Well, I'll go ahead and say it. She had this kind of sexuality even in the cartoon. Like it was kind of creepy.
I think we're seeing some furry stuff coming out here.
I'm just saying it was weird.
Transformers, of course. I think everybody liked Transformers as well.
Yeah, I can't think everybody's like, "Oh, I like GoBots better." Because if you did, you're the poor kid. Sorry.
Yeah. I wanted an Optimus Prime so bad.
Everybody, I didn't have an Optimus Prime, and I begged for it. I did get the Destructicons. I did get all 5 of them, and I was able to make the big robot. And I got the Dinobots. I was able to do it with them too.
Were the Destructicons, were they the construction equipment?
Yeah.
Okay. On to you. Ulysses 31. Don't know that one. Underdog. That was definitely an older cartoon too. Must have had a re-release in the 80s. Visionaries. Knights of the Magic Light.
Those are the characters that had the hologramic sticker when they were cartoons in their chest.
Huh. I don't remember those.
Yes, they could like summon the power of a tiger, and because he had this little thing in his chest that looked like a tiger, it was stupid. Yeah, it was stupid.
Voltron. We talked a little bit about Voltron earlier.
Voltron. Me and my friends loved Voltron.
Mango says Thundercats, an Oreo, and a big glass of milk.
Yeah, you would be absolutely correct, sir.
Let's see. Moving on to W. Wonderful World of Wizard of Oz and the Wuzzles. I remember. Am I getting the Popples mixed up with the Wuzzles?
Yeah, you might be, because I used to as well. Wuzzles are not Popples. Popples was a stuffed animal that would turn into a
ball. Yeah, like their head would stick out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what Wuzzles. They're like almost like a Care Bear kind of knockoff kind of thing. Different animals, I think.
I'll go with that.
I have to look it up for sure.
Yeah.
So out of these, that's the whole list from A to Z. Of course, there's missing some on here, like I was talking about earlier. Mr. T's not on there.
No.
There's a lot of other 80s cartoons that are not on there. Do you have anybody in the live chat or in the rewind, any cartoons that are not on this list that you definitely loved and would never miss? Let us know. I can't think of other than Mr. T that I really like that I watched all the time. So did we hit all the ones that were on your list, on your favorite top 10 show on that list?
No,
there?
We did miss one. The one funny one I would watch. Now, it had a show and it had a cartoon. Came out in 1987. It was Fraggle Rock.
Oh, Mr. Fraggle Rock. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a fun cartoon to watch. That was probably the only comic or cartoon I would watch. Let's see. Out of the other ones, I'm trying to think if there was I remember vaguely the Potato Heads.
Potato Heads. God, that sounds familiar too.
Came out in 1986 from 1987. That was September to February, so a season and a half. Brave Star I hit. Heathcliff, we talked about that. Legend of Zelda. It didn't have that on there.
It did. Legend of Zelda.
Yeah. Oh, I must have missed something. Which is nothing more than a glorified Peter Pan. Galaxy High, I remember that. Oh, what was some other ones I remember seeing? The fake Ghostbusters. That was horrible. But yeah, I remember the cartoon Hot Rod. We were talking about that off air.
Mm-hmm.
Where the guy would get frustrated and turn into a car. And people are like, I don't remember that. And I'm starting to wonder if maybe it's a Mandela effect I'm having or something. But I remember the cartoon where the guy would and then there was the cartoon where all the people they rode like insects.
Yeah, the Insectors or whatever like that.
Insectors, yeah.
Insectards
or
yeah. I had some of those toys as a kid. I remember those.
Yeah, it was those. I remember cartoons being better in the 80s, maybe early 90s. I think it kind of fell out of cartoons very quickly in the 90s because girls started producing boobies. But
so he's who was it in the chat? Double S said Slimer in the Ghostbusters cartoon. I know Ghostbusters. It might have been like a second run Slimer in the Ghostbusters. I don't think it was part of the original Ghostbusters run or real Ghostbusters.
I've got a beer. I'll be right back.
Yep, I just looked up Potato Head Kids. So yeah, I definitely remember that one as well. On my list, I have DuckTales, Real Ghostbusters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mario Brothers, G.I. Joe, He-Man, Beetlejuice, Transformers, Thundercats, and those are like my top cartoons I remember watching as a kid. I think I've maybe watched My Little Pony with my cousin if she was over, but usually didn't watch those. Rude Dog always remind me of Spud McKenzie. I don't know if anybody remembers Spud McKenzie. He was a mascot for Budweiser. He was a terrier. I think it was a bull terrier. I remember I totally wanted a bull terrier as a kid just based off of the beer's mascot. And he was in all the commercials and some of that. It seems so weird that my dad was okay with me wanting that kind of stuff. I remember being a teenager and, this is kind of going back, not necessarily about cartoons, but have an old bottle of whiskey and I would fill it with tea like it was real alcohol sitting on my shelf at 16 years old. My dad was totally cool with that. So I always thought that was kind of weird. Of course, my dad always was really cool with a lot of that kind of stuff. I remember he bought me Ice-T, the Iceberg album when I was still in middle school. So he did not pay attention to some of the stuff that was on in there. And, he hated Two Live Crew, wouldn't let me listen to Two Live Crew, but it bought me the Iceberg by Ice-T. That was not a good album to listen to. He never listened to it, never understood what any lyrics were on that. I was talking about my dad being kind of oblivious to a lot of stuff as a kid. So I thought now we go over and do an 8. Now that we've gone over our 80s
lots of cartoons we missed. I swear to God, they had so many cartoons just missed off of that. So if we've missed something, again, please remind me if you remember the Hot Rod thing. That. I don't know why that's bothering me tonight, but that's bothering me tonight.
I should look up Hot Rod real quick.
I remember him. He just morphed into a car whenever he got stressed out or overheated, and they would have to dump ice on him to cool him down, so he changed back into a person. Comic Book Jeep Spot rolls up into the room. He says, "Yo, brothers, what's going on, brah? Good to see you in the room tonight."
So Hot Rod cartoon.
Was it Hot Rod or Tom Rod or like I remember the cartoon about the kid. You know what? I'll look at it. I'm just shut up and look it up myself.
Yeah, I don't remember that based on that. What I plan to do is go ahead and do an 80s cartoon quiz. This is by Mental Floss. Again, this is not one that we've created. Just found this cool quiz online. I thought it'd be kind of cool for Joe and I to go through and test our own 80s cartoon knowledge. And then some of these might be pretty easy, some might be pretty hard. I don't know. We're going to go through them together. And if you know in the chat, definitely play along. It's something fun to do here. And we're just about an hour in too, so we're going to run through this real quick.
Take your time. I'm teleworking tomorrow.
You're teleworking tomorrow?
Turbo Teen. That was the name of the Turbo Teen.
Turbo Teen.
Yes. That was the name of that cartoon. I kept thinking Hot Rod, but it's Turbo Teen.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I kind of remember that now.
Yeah.
Picture of his body sticking out the front of the car. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He had wheels on his hands. Yep. I remember that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, question number 1. Looks like there's 15 questions. Both He-Man and Skeletor had feline companions, which they used as a mode of transportation. He-Man's faithful feline companion was Cringer, alias Battle Cat. What was Skeletor's counterpart? Trapjaw, Triclops, Spikor, or Panther? Do you know that one, Joe? Yeah, it's Panther. Did Teddy Ruxpin have his own cartoon series? We just passed that one.
We gave up the ghost on that one, didn't we?
Like, oh. What did Snorks use as a form of currency? Pearls, starfish, coral, or clams?
Starfish.
You think it's starfish?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's clams.
That makes sense. Clams. What's the clams? 100 clams.
How did the Sky Commanders manage to get around? Photon grappling hooks, ropes, laser cables, or teleportation? Sky Commanders.
Grappling hooks.
The photon grappling hooks?
Whatever the grappling hooks were.
Oh, they say laser cables.
Isn't that the same thing? They shut the thing. Yeah. I remember the cartoon, but yeah.
Laser cables, if that's a thing. How many robots, lions, did it take to form Voltron? You're the Voltron expert here.
Took 5.
Was it 5?
Yep.
One for each torso, or one for each appendage, legs, arms, one for the center, and one for the body, one for the head.
Mm-hmm.
That's 6?
No. It took left arm, left leg, right leg, chest. And then
5.
Yeah.
Okay. You were correct, sir. I don't know what this is. Bikini
It was
Clarence.
also the most diverse cartoon of its time, as each character had a different, not only sexuality, but there was a fat kid, an Asian kid, a black kid, a white kid, and a white blonde-headed girl that was kind of stupid.
So it was way diverse before its time.
So diverse. So brave. So stunning and brave.
Who was Rainbow Bright's nemesis? Murky Dismal, Katrina Stoneheart, Pizzazz, or Professor Coldheart?
Murky Dismal.
I want to say it's Coldheart. I'll go. Oh, you were right. You were right for the Rainbow Bright.
Yeah, I have a sister.
Which one of these characters is not one of the ghost villains in Pac-Man the Animated? Think about Pac-Man. That was another show that I used to love.
Another one that I absolutely hated. Yeah.
You hated that one?
Yeah,
I used to have Pac-Man lunchbox too when I was a kid. So which one of these characters is not one of the ghost villains in the Pac-Man animated series? Blinky, Inky, Clyde, or Stinky? I think it's Stinky. No, Inky was.
No, Clyde.
It was Stinky. Climber, Clyde being one.
Clyde was one, really?
Yeah.
It doesn't have Iki at the end of it.
What was the name of Jem's band? The Pussycats, the Holograms, Hot Sunday, or the Misfits?
Holograms.
Jen and the
No,
Holograms.
such a bad cartoon. It was like Scooby Doo. It's like the same episode over and over again.
What was the name of the evil mastermind who wreaked havoc for Penny, Brain, and the illustrious Inspector Gadget? Clouseau? Dr. Claw.
Dr. Claw.
Never saw his face either. Just
Look,
his
my
hand.
little mustache is starting to get to where I can do this.
Didn't he have a cat? Did Dr.
Yep.
Claw have a cat?
Now, there is a theory about Dr. Claw.
What's
out
that?
there in the theory world of 80s cartoons that it's actually Inspector Gadget.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that Dr. Claw is actually Inspector Gadget, the original Inspector Gadget. And the current Inspector Gadget that Penny deals with is nothing more than a recreation. How's that for some fan theory?
Double S said, I was the same boat with you, Joey, in the mid-'90s. That was when I lost interest in cartoons because girls I teased in elementary were producing boobs in the middle school.
Yeah. Shit's getting crazy, man. Like Vanilla Ice is rocking it out. We're all booty grinding. NWA's rocking some shit. Girls are dancing totally different. And all of a sudden want to hump your leg. It was fucking awesome. It was awesome without the cocaine. Because we were too young. It was awesome.
Why did grandnephews Huey, Dewey, and Louie move in with Scrooge McDuck and DuckTales? Donald joined the Navy. Donald went to prison. They were attending private school, or they wanted a better life for them. Was it private school?
No, it wasn't a private school. They moved in with him because something with travel, I thought.
Was it in Navy?
Maybe. I know they had to leave. Like they had to go there. It wasn't a choice.
Let's go Navy. Oh, Donald joined in. I don't remember that. Wow.
Woo-hoo.
That was like one of my favorite shows.
A lot about Rescue Rangers. Rescue Rangers was pretty cool too.
What was the name of Gargamel's cat in the Smurf? Hagatha, Azrael, Orko, or Balastar?
It was Azrael, and there's actually a story behind that.
What's to see? Does it say it on here? Nope. What's your story behind his name?
The whole story of Azrael goes back to the Book of Enoch of Azrael, and Azrael's role as far as Gargamel goes with fits in that genre as being his muse for magic.
Oh, really?
Remember, he created Smurfette. And Azrael is the creator of brass metals. He's an artificer, and he also created makeup to be able to feminize women.
Wow. Okay. So learn something new every day.
Oh, it's crazy. Look up them cats. And the Book of Enoch is crazy. Now, the Book of Enoch's not a historical book by no means. I'm not saying that it is. I'm not even saying it's a religious text. But it is interesting stuff.
Which one of the following characters is not a member of Cobra in the G.I. Joe cartoon? Destro, Copperhead, Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow.
Snake Eyes.
The Care Bears cartoon was on television from 85 to 88. But what is the origin of the characters? Greeting cards, teddy bears, puppets, or a line of toys?
Yeah, teddy bears or a line of toys. Doesn't matter. The line of toys was teddy bears.
Greeting cards.
What?
Wow.
That, you know what? I'll admit when I'm wrong. If it says I'm wrong,
Company hired children's book illustrator 81 to do the original artwork for the cards. Franchise eventually morphed into a toy line manufactured by Parker Brothers. In 83, enjoyed its first television special. After the success of Strawberry Shortcake, cards produced by American Greetings in 79. Huh, interesting. The members of Mask team waged an eternal war against which group of evil foils? Cobra, Venom, Poison, Serpent.
Venom.
And last one, which with the following is not a Thundercat? Scythe? Sylph? Sly? Pantro, Tigra, Willy Kit.
The first one that you couldn't pronounce. That's kind of the dead giveaway on that one.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, we only got a 73 on that. Bump,
How
bump,
many did we
bump.
get wrong? We only got
There's 15 questions. So if you get
the Care Bears wrong.
5 wrong, you get a 66%, right?
Yeah.
So we got like 3 wrong, 2 wrong.
No, I'm not buying that. We got 100%. We're always right because it's our show. We can do what we want.
Yeah, that's what it is. Thinking of our show, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up now because we are running just over an hour long. I know Joe's got a big game he's got to get back to. I'm not sure if you even finished that before you jumped on to here.
No, I'm drinking 420 beers, so I'm done.
So this is your first time catching the show. Most time we do comic book reviews. Because of lack of comics, we are actually talking about some 80s stuff. And I think this is something we might continue on with. We might continue on so like do a regular comic show and do like an 80s show or something nostalgic. We're looking back at stuff when we were a kid. I think it's kind of fun to go back and do it. When I do research for these things, this is so awesome. Like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that.
Oh, Dave.
Yes, real quick.
Dave.
Yes.
Do we have a change in the show that's about to happen that we may want to inform our people?
Yes. We are going to be changing the date of our show. We're going to go back to the original Friday night lineup at 7 p.m.
The original.
Eastern. Yep, so the original. So that way we can get Mike back in here, and Jeremy's going to be jumping in here once in a while too. So add a few more people back to the mix, which is always good to have those. You know, Mike's great for those double entendres for me to play off of and throw in there. Those are always fun to do. And Mike's just a fun guy to hang out with. And Jeremy's quite fun. Dude, he can do quite a few different voices, which is always fun.
Plus, we haven't had a shut your fucko mouth.
Yeah, we haven't had a shut your fucko mouth in for a long time. We do have some other stuff coming up next week. It's either going to be Monday or Tuesday. We are going to be talking to one of the creators from Hellseekers. He's a local artist where I'm from. This is Vince Rush. I got Joe a copy of this book as well, and we're going to be talking to him about some of the project he's been working on, and you definitely got to check out some of his art. And it'll be either Monday or Tuesday, 20th or 21st. We'll get that lined up, and we'll let everybody know in all our social medias. And think of the social medias. We do have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow us on all of those. Interact with us. If you got a question, or if there's something from the 80s do you want us to talk about, let us know. Yes, Joe.
Are we not sending out emails to talk to people about maybe having a virtual Comic-Con?
I did. I sent that email out. I haven't got the responses yet, just to let you know.
Okay. So we'll contact them, and we'll see if we can't do a virtual Comic-Con for all you comic book collectors out there to make sure you can't get some of that good comic book goodness, because Diamond wants to, I don't know, be weird right now because, apparently paper makes you contract corona. Don't even get me started. So
I forgot all about this. I want to show this real quick. I was talking about this in the off air. I thought this guy was a West Coast guy, but he's actually a Oregon guy. Ramblin' Rod. They did a cartoon show where he had a whole bunch of kids in the audience. Yeah. He played a cartoon. There's a quick little one.
Wait a minute. You're at when we get something.
And now it's time for the Ramblin' Rod Show.
That was a crappy. That's the only one I could find online. But yeah,
knobs is popping out like nipples. Like
I know. They got super excited. But you can still go over to Teespring, pick up a cool shirt. You can pick the Drew's Wrong About X-Men or the Technical Difficulty shirt. So again, too, if there's something from the 80s you want us to talk about and look over, let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments down below. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I might go watch the new Star Wars movie. I think I'm going to watch that tonight before I hit the sack. So
yeah, that will put you to sleep.
It probably will. Yeah, I've already seen it twice, so it'll probably put me to sleep for the third time. All right, we'll be blasting with a stash. Happy reading, and we'll catch you guys next time. Later.
On Friday.
On Friday.